Within the One Piece community, there seems to be a general consensus of who the two main and most impactful villains are in the story. That would be Sir Crocodile and Don Quixote Doflamingo. But in this video, we'll be particularly focusing on Sir Crocodile. Crocodile has yet to be fully reintroduced into the story, but Oda seems to be leaving us with little snippets and hints of his impending relevancy within the New World. Now the question beckons, what does Oda have planned for Crocodile? And what role can he play in the future of One Piece? I answer that question in this video. Most of the villains that we've gotten to this point have all received a backstory to some degree, and if they haven't, they either lacked relevancy to the plot itself, or they have future plot points that need to be addressed later on in other arcs. A good example of that would be Arlong. When we got Arlong in Arlong Park, we didn't really get a fully fleshed out backstory, as the main focus was Arlong's antagonistic ways towards Nami. But as you go into Fishman Island, you get the full fleshed out backstory of Arlong and why Arlong became the villain that he was today. And the same thing will happen with Moria as well. When we've seen in Thriller Bark, we didn't get a full backstory of Gecko Moria, but he still seems to be relevant within the plot of the story, considering the fact that we just now saw another glimpse of Moria not only in Beehive Island with Blackbeard, but then we also saw him in his clash with Kaido, and it seems as though Moria will definitely come back in the story, and we will get that full fleshed out backstory, considering also Perona is on her way to meet Moria as well. So this just goes to show that just because you have a villain within an arc, it's not necessary to have their backstory yet if Oda plans to use them later on in the future to flesh out their story. Now, with Crocodile, not only has he not received a backstory despite his importance to the plot, but he has many relationships and ties to major players in the One Piece world. For example, Whitebeard, the revolutionary Ivankov, Doflamingo, and the world government. If you pay attention to Crocodile's actions in Marineford, it seems that he garners a respect from his peers in a way that I don't think many of us saw coming. Crocodile had a lot of impressive feats in Marineford, whether it be stopping Akainu from actually killing Jinbei, parrying Mihawk's slash after Das Bones just got wounded to save Luffy, and also ultimately stopping Ace from being executed right before they freed him. Crocodile seems to have this cachet about him where he's just that guy. And even when Doflamingo approached him to say, hey, why don't we team up? And Crocodile basically backtalked him and basically was trying to talk down to Doflamingo by saying, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Unless you want to be my henchman, there's no way I'm partnering with you. And then Doflamingo then responds and says, it's funny because I thought Impel Down would have humbled you, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And Crocodile proceeds to respond by saying, if I had been humbled, then I wouldn't be here in the first place. So Crocodile has this aura about him where he is always going to be the mafia boss. He has that mafia boss mentality. Crocodile is by far one of the most interesting characters that we've received in the story today. But the question beckons, why has Crocodile's character not been completed yet, despite so much relevant and ties that highlight his magnitude as an antagonist? When Doflamingo, aka Joker, was defeated, a major cog in the structure of the New World was taken away that opened up Pandora's box. Wano's war is an example of this. What is the thing that triggered the war in Wano? It was the destruction of the Smile Factory in Punk Hazard, the destruction of the Smile Factory in Dressrosa, Doflamingo being taken down, so now there is no one left to fill that gap that Joker left in regards to weapons trades, connections with the world government, and those weapons trades. Those trades were heavily tied with Wano as well, so it seems as though Doflamingo is a direct correlation with the conflict in Wano starting up again. It seems like the cogs are turning right now. So the question is, who could fill the role? Who could fill the power gap that's been created in regards to the inner workings of the underworld? What man has the cachet, the ties, the organizational resume, and the charisma to take the place of the great Doflamingo? That's right, Buggy the Clown! Just kidding. No, it's Crocodile. Let's relax. Crocodile's reputation carries weight. His masterful use and structuring of Baroque works and his defiant, cunning, and manipulative nature make him an almost seamless fit for the role. Not only does he have the resume and the clout, but add in the fact that he was also born in the New World and allegedly spent a considerable amount of time there, then you come to realize that not only does he have a grasp of the New World and the workings of the New World, but he also has a grasp of the pirates and important figures that have been placed throughout the New World for an extended period of time. Now, one may ask, so if Crocodile is going to take the role of Doflamingo, then one, he would need a sponsor, because Doflamingo had Kaido, so Kaido's backing along with Caesar Clown, and along with Orochi, all created this massive conglomerate of underworld dealings where you shipping weapons back and forth over and over again, and you're basically keeping the entire world in check because everyone is getting weapons from the same source. Now that that's gone, and if Crocodile were to fulfill the role, despite his cachet, despite his resume, despite his reputation, he would need the suitable backing to keep the flow of weapons in check, but also to keep him from being attacked by other stronger pirates, because Crocodile may be strong, but he's not the strongest pirate out there. So who would be the main candidate? Who would be someone of a Yonko class to sponsor Crocodile? This is where Marshall D. Teach comes in. If you go back into Impel Down and you see when Blackbeard first encountered Luffy, and Luffy obviously got bodied, we saw that, was kind of sad, but it is what it is. Blackbeard saw Crocodile and was amused, and he said, "Oh, Crocodile, I didn't know you got out." Obviously, I'm adding words here, but he was interested in Crocodile. And he said, "Do you want to know what my plans are?" Now, Blackbeard is a very careful person. He's a careful thinker. So Blackbeard's not the type of person to just reveal his plans to anybody. But if he's willing to reveal his plans to Crocodile, of all people, there's something there. And I feel as though if Oda wanted to go in this direction, what he could do is he could have Blackbeard and Crocodile work together to reform the underworld dealings. Now, one would ask, why on earth would Blackbeard work with Crocodile, and why on earth would Crocodile even consider working with Blackbeard, knowing his history, knowing his attitude and his behavior towards those who try to deem themselves over him? Now, I harp back onto their connections with Alabasta, and this is where a little bit of a theory making comes in. Blackbeard is on the move. We know for a fact that the incident with Sabo and the Reverie has gone on. We know that Vivi has been mentioned in some degree within the newspapers, and what's going on with Alabasta, with Cobra talking to Fujitora about the Shichibukai. There's something that's gone on there. And the theory is that either Cobra has died or something regarding Alabasta, something regarding Vivi, something regarding Cobra has gone down. And if Blackbeard has reacted to this news, we know for a fact that Alabasta held a poneglyph that had information about the ancient weapons. Now, Nika Robin should know about this, but she still hasn't said anything yet to this time. However, if there's a case where Blackbeard is on his way back to Alabasta, who would be the one man who knows exactly where that poneglyph is hidden and knows exactly the inner workings of Alabasta to then go back there and begin another siege? It would be Crocodile. So if Blackbeard and Crocodile team up and Crocodile asks, "I need you to sponsor my new Baroque's works," basically in this regards, and in exchange, I know what you're looking for. I know where you can go to Alabasta and find that poneglyph that talks about this ancient weapon before the world government takes it. This is my trade to you. Let's have a deal. Blackbeard is a very, very meticulous and careful thinker, so it would not be surprising for me for Blackbeard to take that offer, and then you would have a team of Blackbeard and Crocodile working together to control the underworld. Blackbeard would be, one, foolish to turn this down, because not only would Blackbeard now have dominance over the seas, but then he'd have dominance over the underworld and the flow of weapons to ultimately rule the world, which seems to be Blackbeard's ultimate goal. So this is something that Oda could definitely do. This is something that I could see happening with Crocodile, and it could be the perfect way, in my opinion, to reintroduce Crocodile into the story, because then we have Crocodile again as an antagonist, and then we get to learn about Crocodile's backstory. We get to learn about his ties with pirates in the New World, his ties with the revolutionaries, because then the revolutionaries would have to come into play, because the underworld is a direct conflict with the revolutionaries. They don't want these weapons out there. These weapons are causing countries to go into war and destroy themselves from within. So you have Blackbeard, who also has a history with the revolutionaries, Crocodile, who has history with the revolutionaries, and then you tie everything together, and then you have a major conflict in the world of One Piece, which would then tie into the aftermath of what would happen with Wano when you have Big Mom and Kaido eventually go down, or possibly just Kaido go down, and then the world will be thrown into absolute chaos, where you have pirates fighting on this end, and then you have the revolutionaries fighting the underworld, and it would just be mass chaos. I can see that as a direction that Oda would go to fulfill his promise that the final war would be like nothing we've ever seen before. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this discussion video. If you like what you heard today, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share your thoughts with me on this video. There will be more discussion videos to come, so stay tuned for that. That is it from me, guys. Take care.